we've undone both sides, you know, done all the pipe work, all the hard bit, all the fiddly bit. But now, part 3 of this splitting the 135 multi-power tractor is actually rolling it apart. Now, if I look on the monitor, you can just see a jack here. This is a hydraulic jack, and I have that jack, I'll just check, that's nice and tight. I have that sitting on a flat surface underneath the bell housing where your inspection cover is. The inspection cover is on, and it's on the front edge of that. I have a blue stand sitting here. That takes no load at the moment. That sole purpose of that is if the jack lets us down, that's our safety, so it doesn't fall on us. Now we have a rail, an angle iron rail going along, and we also have a Sparex splitting stand, and it's on rollers, and I did have an earlier video on that, but look, we will have a bit better look at that. But what I do at this stage is all the underneath bolts are undone. I undo them and take them out and put them on the splitting stand. Now, to keep the whole show on the road or together, on the other side you'll remember we took the starter motor off, and I've undone the hard to get to bolts here. Now I leave a couple up this side, and there's one on the other side there that hold the tractor together. So we just take the weight of the tractor, and look, you're just putting a little weight on that jack. You're not wanting to jack the whole show up, you're just supporting it. Then once again with this stand here, you just support the engine. Now you really need to take note of this next piece, and it is of utmost importance. Now what can happen with the tractor, because you know that your front axle pivots back and forth, when you roll the tractor apart, I've got a nice flat stand here, but you may not have that. But when you wheel it apart, if it's top heavy, it'll go bang and it'll click over one way and shoot the stand out or something like that. So what you must do, whether it's a straight axle tractor like this or a bent axle, get a couple of pine wedges, just softwood, and come in and knock them in each side. Now you knock them in between the axle and the front axle cradle, and that stops it from tipping across. So the angle it's on now, when we undo the bolts, that tractor should come forward, and this engine shouldn't rock and roll anywhere at all. So we'll come around the back here. Now I have the tractor supported. I've got one bolt around the other side. I'll go and undo that. So for the purposes of the video, the only bolts you'll see are the ones on the left hand side of the tractor. Put that down on the stand there again so you know where it is. It's important to have little habits when you work on tractors so you can back yourself up. Okay, some of them are supposed to have a bolt in under here that holds the tractor together. This tractor hasn't had it replaced, so they've taken it out and it was too hard to put back. So the bolt's out of the bottom there. Now we're safely supported, we can undo the whole lot. Now normally you would have the handbrake on or the back wheels chocked. In this instance I have the back wheels off, the axle's out, and it's up on axle stand, so it's not going to roll anywhere. But normally you'd chock the back wheels or put the handbrake on, so the back part of the tractor with the jack under it can't roll away on you. So well, you can just see that little gap starting there now. Now what we're looking for here is, at the moment, that's open 3mm at the bottom, not much at the top. So we like to keep that nice and even. So we'll we'll bring the back jack up just a little until that's even. That's pretty good there now. Then we'll follow it up. We'll follow that up with the stand. So now, before the tractor comes apart, our gap is nice and even. We've got our chocks in, our tractor's nice and even. So if you've got it right, see that? You can just rock the wheel and I'll bet you he'll just wheel apart for us. It's handy if you have someone on the other side to push too. I don't have that. And if I loosen this little screw here on the camera, you can see it coming apart here. Our oil can fell over. I'll put a bit of rag on there, soak that up. Okay, the tractor's apart. Okay, we've gone handheld here for a minute so you can see the setup. And the tractor's, or the engine is here. The back end is back there, and you can see it on the axle stands. Now we have a jack there that is supporting the back end, and there's a little stand there. Now, if you have a rough floor, these angle iron rails, look, they're just the duck's nuts. It doesn't matter if you've got little humps and hollows in the floor. If you have a nice clean track, the tractor will roll apart easily. Now that's the Sparex stand. And look, that's expensive to buy. I can understand you're not buying them. If we look over here, that's one I made just out of a bit of pipe and some ball bearings. And that's the other part of the Sparex one. Look, that one there works fine. It's just a piece of threaded bar with a nut and a couple of handles welded to it. I actually did a video on that ages ago, in the stews I think. But that's it. But look, don't forget, whatever you do, don't forget those wedges. You can see that I can push and pull on that now, and that's quite sturdy. That's not going anywhere. But we are going to pop the clutch off, and we're going to try that new quality lip rear seal. So we're going to do a test on that while we're doing it. And in here, that's where all the multi-power's been disabled, so that whole gearbox is coming out yet. And the steering box is coming off the top, and we're going to run right through that box as well.